Aloha!
Welcome to Tantrum House Studio 808. I'm AmyEggs.
And I'm Psychic Larry, and today we are going to give our first look at Frosthaven. Frosthaven is the long-awaited follow-up to Gloomhaven, which was very, very popular. They ran a Kickstarter and made the most money ever for a board game, well over 12 million. So it's finally getting out. Hopefully you've gotten your copy.
Where's my mail? Wrong mail here.
If you have already gotten your copy of Frosthaven, you already know this game is huge. There is so much content. It is so awesome. There's lots of stuff in it. But like Gloomhaven, it is a little bit of a bear to keep organized.
There are two different types of organizational systems that we put together and tried out. One from Folded Space, it's like a foam material, and the other from Laser Rocks, which is made of wood, and there are some plastic components as well.
The Folded Space one we did first.
We built those first,
Yeah. It's the light foamy ones. I thought that it was pretty simple to punch out.
They were, you just pop them out, like very easy just to pop all the pieces out.
The only thing with this Folded Space one is you do have to glue most of the pieces together because they come off fairly easy if they're not glued together. And they show you a way to glue them that is
Efficient,
yeah. Goes a little bit quicker and makes a little bit less of a mess.
I like glue.
Who doesn't? But we're trying to brainstorm here.
Glue's good.
But you do have to glue these and wait for them to dry before you can organize
it's still
them.
going to take you several hours. This one probably took us 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, maybe
do
2
the
hours to put them together and to organize everything into the boxes. Probably took us about 2 hours. The Laser Rocks one with wood was a little bit more difficult to take apart. The pieces are kind of pre-punched.
There's little connector pieces that you have to use an X-Acto knife to cut through. So that was my job, going through, finding all the pieces we need, and X-Acto knife cutting all of these pieces of wood. Got blisters, for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit hard to put together. The pieces do fit together a little bit more snugly. They do still recommend that you glue them to make sure that they don't fall apart.
Larry had a little rubber mallet that he was using to put these together, so it was around Christmas time when we did it, and we had Christmas music playing, and Larry looked like an elf in Santa's workshop with his little hammer.
Hey, Ming Ming. I'm gonna be a little bit short on today's quota.
One thing we didn't mention about the Laser Rocks, those probably took us like 5 hours to put together.
Oh yeah, as far as the time.
Just because the punching took so much longer.
It did take a good bit of time. I don't know if it took 5 hours, but it took a long time.
We watched 2 movies and a show.
That might be why it took 5 hours. We were watching movies and the show.
Well, maybe that was
As far as the aesthetic, it looks very similar to Gloomhaven. The artwork is similar. It has the feel of Gloomhaven, just a little more frosty.
But stay frosty.
Yeah, it has a similar look, a similar feel. Like if you saw the Gloomhaven box and the Frosthaven box without the name on it, you can tell that they're from the same company, that they're a very similar game.
Yeah, it is in the same world, so it has, like I said, similar art, similar graphics and things. So it keeps the feel of Gloomhaven.
Yeah, I like it. All right, let's get into the gameplay. We did mention that the art is very similar to Gloomhaven. The gameplay is also very similar. The rule book obviously all the rules are in there, but they put in there that if you've already played Gloomhaven, then only read the text that's in blue. So you can go from page to page and skip whole pages that you don't need to read. And then there's a little tiny box with, this is something different in Frosthaven, which I thought was such a great idea.
There is one section as you get toward the back half of the book, when it starts talking about the outpost, which is the biggest difference in the game. It tells you, all right, from now on, you should just read everything because we're not doing blue anymore because this is all the new stuff. Even though they sorted that, it's still a huge rule book.
It's unbelievable! It's huge! I've never seen anything like it!
It's massive. Just like Gloomhaven, there's a ton of rules. Yeah, it's hard when you're flipping through 60 plus pages of rules to find a specific answer. They do have an appendix that helps a little bit, but there's still so many different one-off questions that you're just gonna have to flip the book a lot.
One thing that I liked that they did change from Gloomhaven is instead of having just the scenario book, they now have a scenario book and a section book. So Gloomhaven, you got all of the information right there, and you could accidentally cheat and look ahead and see what is coming in other rooms.
We never cheated. Ever.
Right. I totally did. But in Frosthaven, they only show you that first room, and then they say once you hit, marker 1, go to section 72 in the other book. So then you go to the other book, find that section, and then it shows you that second room. It takes a little bit more time, it's a little more page flipping, but I think you play the game the way that it's intended to play, where it is something completely new and you can't plan ahead at all. So I like that change. Another change between Gloomhaven and Frosthaven is loot. Normally when you kill a monster, they leave a coin, at least in Gloomhaven. In Frosthaven, they drop a little pouch and it has all kinds of things in it. And we'll talk more about that when we talk about the outpost.
Speaking of the outpost, that is one of the major differences between Gloomhaven and Frosthaven. There's an outpost phase where you are going back to your outpost and actually taking different actions where you can build buildings, upgrade your defenses.
Use the buildings to upgrade your stuff.
Yeah, you can upgrade your gear, you can brew potions. There's all kinds of different things that they added in between the missions as opposed to Gloomhaven where you kind of just stop to buy some things maybe.
Yeah, Gloomhaven was like, just do these 3 actions and then start your next scenario. Whereas with Frosthaven, there's this whole nother world that you're interacting with.
Yeah, the loot bags you get actually give you different kinds of loot. It's not just coins. They kind of give you some wood or metal or skins or roots and different things that you can brew with. So there's all kinds of different loot that you can get from the scenarios that go back to your outpost and you can actually use to do different things. So that does add a little bit more interest to the game. Both the road and the outpost decks have a summer and winter deck because there is a sense of time in Frosthaven as opposed to Gloomhaven. Every time you complete a mission, you'll check off a different section on your tracker and soon you'll move from summer to winter and then you'll change decks. Obviously in the summertime, the deck is a little nicer to you.
It's warmer and happier.
As opposed to the winter, which can be a little harsh. Another thing we wanted to talk about were the different types of apps that they have included. The main one is the Foreteller App, which kind of reads the scenarios for you.
I love this app. All of the little flavor text and story that goes along with each scenario. You just click this button in the app and it reads it for you, and they're professional storytellers. So there's different people doing the different voices, and there's ambient noises depending on what's going on in your scenario. It just adds so much. It's one of the things that I look forward to, like, ooh, I want to get to that door so we can listen to more of what's going on in the story.
The other app is an app from Lucky Duck Games, which does a little bit more of
The tracking.
yeah, it's more of the administration part of the game. So it tracks your hit points, it tracks the monsters' hit points, it tracks what monsters are in your scenario. It also keeps track of the monster initiative and the player initiative. So it tells you what order to play in.
It also does math with the monster initiative cards.
Oh yeah, so whenever you flip an initiative card for the monsters, it tells you what actions they're gonna take. So for instance, if a monster had a 3 movement, but on this action card it said it was a -1 movement, it will do the math for you and just tell you that the monster's moving 2 spaces
It
as well.
streamlines everything. Highly recommend.
Yes, it definitely is super helpful.
All right, so we're gonna wrap this video up with what we think of Frosthaven. I love it. Like, I really love it. In general, I love co-op games, and you throw in a campaign, that's even better because then it's a co-op game that I can play over and over and over again. I loved Gloomhaven, so of course I love Frosthaven. The things that they added and changed, I think, have only improved the game. I really can't think of anything negative to say about it. Yeah, I just love it.
Wow, she just loves it.
I do.
I really like Frosthaven. I think it is more of what Gloomhaven did really well with adding a few different things, specifically that outpost phase where you can build up your own little city and kind of upgrade things, which I really like in the RPG style of board game. Like I said at the beginning, the setup and takedown is really kind of a hindrance to us getting the game to the table more often. There are some things like these organization trays and things that help to make it go a little bit faster, but if you can donate a table to Frosthaven and sacrifice it for the year so you can leave the Frosthaven out and not have to pack it up every time, because then you can just get in and play the scenarios, which is the fun part of the game. So if you are interested in following us on our Frosthaven journey, we are recording little snippets, kind of just little vloggy type videos. They're not super long. We'll probably post them in reels or stories on Facebook and Instagram. So check out Tantrum House Facebook and Instagram pages, and you can follow along with us as we go through Frosthaven. We'll try not to give too many spoilers, but there's no guarantee that there will be none.
You've been warned.
Yeah. For more content, check out our YouTube channel, which you are probably watching this on. Give us a like and a subscribe to the Tantrum House channel, and we will see you on the next video.
Aloha. One from Folded Space, theirs is like a foam board material, and then the other.
Oops.
Okay. Let's try that again.
As far as the aesthetic. So, for more content from Tantrum House, check out our
YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's the one. The YouTube channel.